So before we get ahead of ourselves from that first clip you've just seen, we need to work out what we need to do with this tree. It's a tree in the past a lot of bonsai enthusiasts have told me not to touch it, just let it grow. It looks so natural. And it's always been bugging me to the core. And I've come to realise that those people, they lack vision. And what this tree really needs, it needs a hard cut back and to start again. And the reason why we're going to be cutting it back today is so we can start building the ramification from lower down on the branches. But we have to be careful on the procedure, because if we don't leave any buds on the branch, that branch will die back to the trunk. So this really isn't a tree that you can just hack away at, as you've seen what I've done to Chinese elms as such. It's really a tree that every decision needs to be chosen wisely and with caution. And to make these decisions even more challenging on this project, there is a lot of branches that have grown too strong to be convincing of a bonsai tree. At the moment, it's just making it look like a glorified bush. And as you can see, this one here, it does need to come off, and there's many just like it. And here we have a branch that's split into two, and on the right side here, it's grown really leggy with no buds underneath the foliage, and this will never ramify, so we need to get rid of that. And it's just constant sniffing back, getting to the canopy, trying to build the foundation for a better start for this bonsai tree's journey. So as we're starting to cut away stuff that can't be used, we are starting to find open spaces. It's definitely going to be a bit of a challenge to find a bonsai tree within this bush, but we're going to persist and continue to cut away, making more open spaces. And the more we do this, it's becoming clear that it's going to need an even harder cutback just to start all over. Now, to the untrained eye, you probably can't see where I'm going with this, but we are starting to get somewhere, even though there's still a lot to come away. And I have to be honest, it is constantly snip, take a step back and look at the tree. Now we're going to have a break from the top section, and we're going to start working on these lower branches. They do have some wire on them that I done earlier on in the year, well before I did the decision to do the hard cutback, as I was just going to try and work on the ramification throughout the whole branch. But let's crack on. And if you got this far in the video, you've probably realized that I'm not going to be cutting straight down to the main trunk, and it's just a gradual cutback to see what works. Sometimes you just have to go at it slowly to be able to see the picture. So looking at it from a distance and from the hard cutback we've done so far, it's obvious that it needs to be reduced. Now, we do have this old wire that does need to come off. I'm not going to bore you guys by taking it, as there's a lot of it and it's going to be a very tedious job, and I need 0 distractions. So I'm not going to be recording all this wire. And if you're wondering, it took me a good half hour, 35 minutes to get all the wire off. And just having a quick spin around, we're almost there. But it just still isn't right. There's more that needs to be coming off. And I have realised in my previous videos, this is something that I never really add into it, and it's the use of cut paste. And you really don't need a lot. A little goes a long way, and I've had this one for a couple of years, and I've used it every time. And I got to admit, it took me a few years to get it to look nice and tidy. So here we are, to the end of the video, and I opted in to not to do any wiring, as I didn't feel like it needed it. I feel like all the branches are in place to where I want them already, but obviously when the new growth comes out, they will be wired and into place throughout next year. But speaking of next year, it should also reward me with loads of explosive growth, as there's now going to be a lot more light going in towards the canopy. But yeah, I enjoyed doing this video, and if you did too, please comment, like and subscribe. If not, no worries, and I'll catch you in the next one.